There's a problem that affects players that like to try different builds and or multiple characters, aka alts, in the Diablo 4 base game. First, let's talk about respeccing. The skill tree is pretty easy to reset. There's a button to reset all. You can reset them individually. So long as you're 50 or below, it's not bad. Once you get to the Paragon board, things get a little more difficult. You have to reset all the nodes individually. There's no way to reset all the boards or an individual board. You must reset them in order, and the cost gets more and more prohibitive. This already has me wondering, if I want to switch from my shock build to a fire build, if I would be better off persuading some players to power level an alt sorcerer or sorceress to level 50 or 100. Within TOS, of course. Well now, if you're committed to still changing your build, now we got to deal with the gear. Or at least the aspects on the gear. They give each character an individual aspect tab. I stopped using it, and I'll show you why. So to extract this aspect, it's going to cost over 170,000 gold. And I received no crafting mats from doing this. Now that you have extracted it, if you decide you no longer plan to use it because you changed your build or got a better roll, for instance, and you go to sell it, it's worth 35 gold. I mean, 35 gold? It doesn't matter what it is. What aspect? God roll? Nope. 35 gold. Can I at least get some mats out of it?
That
nope.
Cannot be salvaged.
Can't break them down either. That one cost 300,000 to extract, by the way. Still only worth 35 gold. So let's get to the root of the problem. The stash tabs. The gems. They're already going to fix that problem, so we won't talk about that. All the symbols for the aspects pretty much look the same within offense, defense, which is another reason I stopped breaking them down because it didn't really help with organizing them. So I started organizing them like this. The gap gives me room for easy comparison and a second god roll if I get it. All the aspects you see here are for my current build. There's no fireball, blizzard, or any of that. So if I was looking to change my build, there would be even more aspects in this stash. The last tab I use as my Dropbox. The majority of those nightmare sigils I just got the other day, playing for most of the day with my friends doing nightmare dungeons. I haven't had time to actually go through them and see which ones I want to keep before I break them down. So you got 4 stash tabs. That's not even one for every class that's in the game right now. There are 5 classes. Rumor there will be a 6th one. Remember when your characters got their own stash and there was just a shared stash tab? Now there are 10 character slots. So you could make a character to act as a bank for each of the 5 classes. But that's kind of a pain. There's going to be a lot of logging in, logging out, and transferring things back and forth. And I would lose some of that space if I want to have a second active character under a certain class. So if I could, I would pay for more stash tabs right now. And that would be pay to win. So this has me considering, will I want a second account so I can do 3 classes under each account, allowing me to have 2 separate builds of each class and a few extra characters for either bank or other projects. I would lose access to some of the legendary and unique items, but they mostly drop per class anyway. I would lose the crafting materials, but they're pretty easy to get. I'd still be able to trade elixirs, rare gear, and some other items between the accounts. The worst part would be redoing the renown. So is buying a second account pay to win because each character doesn't have its own stash tab? I do realize this only affects a small part of the player base. Like myself, I'm sure there are some others. If you only play a character or 2, stay with one build, follow a build guide, none of this will be an issue for you. I do feel like this would be an easy fix if they did something better with the aspects or the Codex of Power, or gave each character one tab for itself that wasn't shared. But for right now, I'm not sure how I could start leveling my alts and have enough space for everything. Maybe once seasons start, I won't care about the base game anymore. It'll be all about the seasons and none of this will matter. So ultimately, is this bad game design? Bad game design with the intent to sell you another copy, making it just a tiny bit pay to win? Or have I just played too much of this game, planned to play too much, and it's just too much of a hoarder? Let me know what you think in the comments below.